I'm Tristan Stubbs with the Climate and Development Knowledge Network here in Cancun. I'm here with Umoro Godana of the Pastoralist Integrated Support Programme in Kenya. Welcome, Umoro.
Thank you.
Could you give me a few thoughts on how the negotiations in Cancun are going? And also, could you give us a few ideas about what you do in Kenya and the work of your programme?
Thank you. Pastoralist Integrated Support Programme, PISP, is an indigenous organization that was formed back in 1996 and works with largely nomadic pastoralists who live on the northern part of the Republic of Kenya and on the southern part of Ethiopia and are largely camel keepers. PISP as an organization was formed because of the various challenges that communities were facing, especially in water sector, where communities used to trek 30, 40, 50 kilometers to access water for household use. And PISP as an organization was started by the community to deal with that as an issue that international agencies were not dealing with it. PISP remains to use its water programs, the various technologies in water that PISP has started, from sand dams to ponds to protected wells to boreholes, to ensure that pastoralists access quality, safe and water at a much more limited distances. As an organization, we deal with the biggest challenge in northern parts of the country where we have huge drought, highly so because of the climatic changes that's taking place globally. And as a community who did not in any way contribute to the variabilities globally, and also the change that is now taking place, which all sciences has indicated is a reality, we feel so much of the impact, especially in droughts, in the form of droughts, livestock diseases, and also loss of certain traditionally livelihood-based, especially the livestock species in that region. So that's how largely our community feels. As an organization, we are aware about the disasters that climate change is bringing to this community. We've had to tackle it in the much we can by engaging with our communities and also the expertise that is available within our midst, and have engaged with our governments and other development partners who work in the same area to ensure that disaster risk reduction as a measure is mainstreamed in development activities that will take place, and our communities are now much aware about the fact that the changes they see is not about any other phenomenon, but is the reality of science, and climate is really changing, and they really have to adapt to it. And they all call, as I come here to represent their interests alongside other party delegates from our country, Kenya, they all cry to the global community that climate change is impacting on their lives, climate change is destroying their livelihoods, and they look forward to a global deal that is largely to ensure that the future does not remain in this trend. And globally people have to mitigate, and they have to be supported to adapt with its effect. Yeah.
So how does PISP go about communicating the challenges of climate change to the pastoralist communities in Kenya?
I think it's across the board agreed that climate change has terminologies that are not very easy to communicate to communities. Communities who believe in supernatural beings, communities who have very strong sense of spirituality, and think that some of the changes that are taking within their midst is spiritual. It's God who is behind this, and it really have to take a lot of scientific explanation to do that. We've really been using the print media. We've really been using the schools, education institutions. We've really been using leaders who are educated, bringing the facts of science and all this information to them to ensure that this information gets back to them. But we also largely use public and community meetings where we gather communities in their various villages together and educate them on the basics of what's happening in their midst and why it's happening, and the fact that they have to really live with it. Yeah.
So there must be many different levels of governance involved in communicating these challenges. How do you integrate the different levels of governance? You mentioned the community leaders. How do you link as an organisation all these levels together?
The reality is it's difficult. We have in the organisation a batteries of trained personnel on issues of climate change, issues of adaptation, issues of mitigation within climate change issues. And we've used the expertise within the organizations who have been locally trained and nationally trained to ensure that the district steering group, because in Kenya we have districts as units of administration of development within regions. And today in the new constitution, which was just promulgated 3 months ago, we call them counties. We have head of various technical ministries in the government of Kenya. We have technical people who work with civil society and governmental organizations. So we ensure that the cream in terms of people who have technical skills are trained on some of these issues. And we use that training, the TOTs that we've produced out of this, to ensure that the information goes down to the lowest level in terms of community leaders and the people who are educated, the change agents like teachers, like the chiefs and other people in the communities, to understand some of these substances. And then we use the same population, including the youth population who are high school leavers and others, to try and understand, make communities understand concepts of climate change and why it's taking, the scenario they see today and what's likely to happen in the future. So we ensure that as much as we can, we start with the top level within Kenya. At the national level, there are certain trainings. We do trainings at the district level, at the locational level, and then sub-locational level, and the villages for communities to understand this. So we ensure that there is a buy-in from people who are educated, who are listened to opinion leaders, for people to really agree that climate change is taking place. But otherwise, it will have been really very difficult to convince the local population in case we did not use the resource persons and their opinion leaders and trusted leadership to try and educate them on this.